Ooh, okay. I think we are live streaming on Facebook now and YouTube. Fingers crossed. This took a lot of work to try to get on here. Okay. The universe is crazy today. Okay, let's see if I can figure out if we are actually live. Because I want to make sure, otherwise maybe I'll just have to record it too. Let's see. Yes, I think we are.
Okay.
We are. Okay, this is my first time going live on YouTube. I have uploaded videos, but I don't think I've ever gone live before because I had to do a whole runaround to get it working. Okay, now that we know that energy of today is quite chaotic, I actually posted about that already, and let's see. Okay, good. We're up and running. We're good to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna get going, and then hopefully the settings work and everything saves as it should. Okie dokie. Okay, so I've been mentioning on my Facebook page, if you're not following me on Facebook, I am just Zen Mama Lightworker, same as I am here. I have been updating on some things, and I've been talking about the chaos of 2025 for some time now. And this is going to be an update for right now, but it's also going to be an update for a little bit into the year ahead, because they they really are one and the same. So. Even right now, we just had a couple things. We were just hit with a couple things in Canada, at least, that are going to be going on. Some things that I've been tracking for some time now. And when I say tracking, I mean energetically, intuitively. I will actually follow the breadcrumbs and track things and situations, and I'll have a vision and I'll track further into it to see if this is something that's going to come to fruition in this timeline, how we're moving through timelines, and all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about timelines, and what is in store for us as of right now, and what possible timelines are nearby that could be kind of coming in and out of. So, like I said, today has been a little bit crazy. The energy is very chaotic. I've been already talking to a couple different people today in the same field that I work in, the intuitive stuff, the psychic stuff. And a good number of us were awoken in the night, experiencing a shift and just felt super wide awake. And for me, that was at 4:30 with my 1-year-old. So we were up, and I felt so awake. I had trouble falling back to sleep. My body just felt like it almost felt like I just drank like 5 cups of coffee. It was just like I needed to move. I had this crazy, abundant, very zippy energy within me. And I know it was the same for some others as well. So first and foremost, that energy came with a shift that we are experiencing. This is a collective shift. That's why there's a number of people that are feeling it. However, not everyone is going to be affect or is going to, yeah, I guess have the same effect by it because we're all sitting at different vibrations and in different energetic spaces, essentially. So there's a few things I want to touch on. I want to touch on the chaotic energy. I want to touch on some things about death that we're going to be seeing over the next little bit here. We're going to talk about distractions. We're going to talk about the dream state and how that's been lately. We're going to talk about extraterrestrial beings and connections and things like that. And we're going to talk about the theme of this year overall for everyone collectively, because we all have our individual themes, right? We all have our individual things we're going to be experiencing different phases of life that we're in, but then we also have the overall collective one that I'm going to share with you guys as well. Okay, so the chaos, this chaos energy that we're in, this chaos energy that is going to be remaining for pretty much the duration of 2025. It's actually, it can feel chaotic and it can feel like a lot, but it is really good to use that energy, especially if you're someone who's normally a procrastinator or slower moving. You can really use this chaotic energy to help amplify and launch things and boost yourself in different directions, whatever that is, whether it's your own business, growing up in the ladder of the work that you're currently in, wanting to pursue like new education, use the chaotic energy to your benefit. And also, you don't have to sit in that chaotic energy. There's your stream, and then there's the collective stream. If you're uncomfortable in that chaotic energy and you don't think it's to your benefit to be in it or to use it, zip right out of it. Just unplug from it, come out of it, go into your own stream, create your own energy stream. use it to your advantage if you want to, but you don't have to sit in it and be uncomfortable if that's the case. The chaotic energy is incoming and it's sitting like this because we have a lot of change that's going to be taking place over the next, we'll just talk about this year, over the next year. There's going to be a lot of change that's taking place, a lot of structures that are going to be burned to the ground, some physically, some spiritually. We'll just put that out there. And things are just going to really crumble before our eyes, and it has to happen. And I know in September, October, November, there were some things that happened within the world that everybody has felt, or at least witnessed to some degree, the impact of energetically, with stuff that's going on in the US and elections there, that some people kind of felt one way or another. Or maybe you were in the middle and you're like, I don't know, let's just watch this play out, which is the best place to be, by the way. Just watch it happen, right? We're gonna witness it either way. But essentially, we all witness this in some way, shape, or form, and it will be affecting everyone in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just what you're seeing on your social media. Um, and ultimately, if you were standing really far over here and you had feelings about that, or you're standing really far over here and you were having feelings about that, um, it's to many a distraction and it's very chaotic. And that was actually a catalyst for some very chaotic energy taking place and shifting a lot of things for the better in our world. So as much as you may hate the person or just strongly dislike the person who created the change and was I shouldn't say created the change, was the catalyst, was the face of the catalyst for the change. It really has nothing to do with that individual and has everything to do with how it's impacting our planet, our collective Earth, right? So it was essential. And we are on, even though it might feel gross to some, we are on the right track. We are on an aligned path for this planet, for the people, and what is required. Okay. Um, Outside of that, now we have some things taking place in Canada. As per usual, it is a SHIT show, which is fine. The ball is moving. The ball is rolling. That's all we can hope for. There's a couple different trajectories right now for Canada. We are in one, but they are very close and could easily slip in and out of one another. And so I'm still tracking that. I don't want to dive in too much into it because I haven't had a chance to track it since there's been some announcements, and things like that. So I will come back with a little more of that if that's something that people want to know a little bit more about. But essentially, right now, know that there is a path that one side of the, how do I word this? There's a path that the right will like a little better and a path that the left will like a little better, and they're really intermingling right now. And so, knowing the final outcome, um, well, I feel the final outcome, but knowing how it's gonna play out in between is tricky. So we're gonna wait on that. But anyways, all will be fine. Like I said, the ball is rolling, the things are coming to light, things are shifting up. We are moving in a direction that some people might be like, holy crap, I would not expect that. But we are. And it's eventually going to be really, really great. But here's the thing with that. You don't have to, like I said with the chaotic energy, you don't have to be super involved and immersed in everything that's going on. If it's not a part of your journey, take a back seat and observe. For me, I found a strong call to know a lot more about like the government systems and how things are run and this person and that person and how things work. But that's for my specific scenario. And I think the reason for that is because there's a little bit more along my journey in regards to that I need to have awareness on. But that's not the case for everyone. It's actually not the case for the majority of people. And for a lot of people, if you're using something like that as a distraction, then it's just distracting you from your aligned path, and we don't want to do that. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about, and this is something that I talked about I think Brittany and I talked about this in our energy update previously, and if you want to watch that one, you can go back on my page and watch it. Um, but I did want to kind of add a new layer of awareness to it and just bring it forward again, um, so that we're all aware of why kind of this is taking place. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are seeing crazy, crazy, crazy vibrational increases with our planet because as individuals, a lot of us are working on our healing and we're just trying to be better humans and we're raising our vibration, right? And so when we raise our vibration, we help the planet raise its vibration. Mother Earth is very happy about this. And in doing that, there are some souls within our bodies, right? Within our animals, um, all throughout our collective that are having trouble raising vibration as well. And that's not to say that they're bad people or negative energy. No, no, no. It's just what their bodies, their physical bodies are attuned to because we are a physical body holding a soul inside, right? Kind of. And so if at an energetic level, yeah, we're ready to rock and roll, let's raise our vibration, but our physical body is like, I'm just not attuned to that. Like I'm not making it that far. That's not part of the plan for me, or it's not part of the plan for that person to be living through this experience. They're like, I lived through all this stuff. I'm done. I'm done with this. Um, in a lot of cases, we are going to see some people leaving this earth realm, as they always do. It's a circle of life, right? But in this case, we might it just it's going to feel like there's more of it happening. And some of it is going to feel like it's like really some of the people will be people who are already struggling, but others will be it'll just be like all of a sudden just no, this is not where they needed to be. Exit strategies, that's something I also wanted to bring up. Exit strategies are on an all-time high right now. So if you are noticing that some, like a lot more people are sick or holding illness, like even if it's just a common cold and they just cannot let it go, there's a lot of people who are teetering on the energetics right now and they're either their physical bodies or they're at a soul level, they're fighting a vibrational increase. And so they're remaining sick, like they're just in this stagnant space. That's just not, it's not serving them. And those people will either work out of it or they will struggle, continue to struggle. And then that's where we see some, some things play out physically, emotionally, mentally, because we can see things vibrationally and on a spiritual level, but they can manifest into the emotional, the mental, and the physical easy peasy if we are not releasing or working through things or healing through things or receiving awareness that is trying to come our way, right? So exit strategies, like I said, at an all-time high, that doesn't just mean like specific forms of exiting this realm. It's all things, right? Doesn't mean like, oh, we're choosing to take ourselves out of this earth realm, this physical body. It could mean a number of things. It could be accidents, it could be this, it could be that. We're not, it's not one specific way that we're seeing. However, I have noticed something in regards to animals. We recently put down one of well, actually, our first fur baby. And for me, I have not had such a big release. I don't even know if I ever have, honestly. Because it was, this is the thing with our animals too, right? Is a lot of them end up being guides, like living guides for us. And then when they pass, they end up being spiritual guides for us, spirit guides. So on this earth realm, they can only take on and hold so much, and they often find themselves absorbing negative energy, stagnant energy, um, like trauma, things like that. They end up absorbing it for their humans, their people, right? And then their bodies can only vibrationally increase so much, which means that if the planet is if our planet is vibrationally increasing and they're holding all this dense, really blah energy, and a lot of the times these animals don't want to release this because if they release it, they don't want it going back to their person. They're wanting to help them fully rid themselves of it, and that is one of the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful roles of our animals in this life is that they are helpers and they are healers for us. As sad as it is, a lot of them signed up for that specific thing. So they're helping you get all this stuff out, helping you guide you in this life. And then they're taking all that stuff and they're passing because their bodies, their physical bodies can't withstand that. Doesn't mean they're gone, right? Because oftentimes they're still guides for us spiritually. Um, but we're seeing a lot of these little fur babies and feathered babies or whatever kind of scaly babies you got, they are kind of at their capacity, especially with the vibrational stuff that's going on, and a lot of them are passing or are getting really sick and obviously they're Their owners, their mamas and daddies are making those decisions for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's always gonna be more coming in there, and it's just that for a lot of them, that's the purpose that they meant to serve. And once they're mom and dad are like, okay, I feel like I can see that this little tiny thing is not doing so well. I'm gonna, it's time to make that decision. And for me, I prolonged like my baby boy, fur baby boy, a little chihuahua. He probably should have gone the year before we did it, like a year ago. Um, and I prolonged that, unfortunately, even though I knew that he wasn't feeling good because I just wasn't ready to release him, and that's on me. And when I did, though, like I said, I had such a huge release, um, aka I cried my eyes out, and it felt like it was tearing me apart while also simultaneously building me back together. It was the most beautiful thing, and I'm so, so, so grateful for him. And I can also really appreciate that now that I've released and processed the things. We just picked up his little urn yesterday and got his little the vet and the crematorium actually got his little like paw prints and his nose print. And it's so cute on a paper for us. So like I had a little bit of a moment where I started to tear up again, but I can really just see the beauty now. This was really my first like fur baby that he was before my kids, right? And he was my first real little baby that was like my own. Well, mine and my husband's, but really he was my own. And so that was the first time I got to witness losing a little, like you just realize how much they really do for you. And yeah, I'm not gonna dive into all the things because I could talk on and on forever about it. But it was really incredible to get to witness kind of why he came here, and then I held him while he passed, and I like watched with my clairvoyant eyes his soul leave his body, and then realizing I'm just holding this flesh. And essentially it's the same for human beings, right? When our loved ones pass, it's just their physical body that's passing. Our soul is eternal. That baby is not going, that light's not going out. So knowing that you can also connect on the other side too, and I did with him almost immediately. He kind of came in and he gave me that reassuring, and then I had a couple little scenarios where I heard him. The couple days after being home without him there, I could hear him, and I was like, oh yeah, he's still hanging around. He's nice and close, which is beautiful in and of itself as well. But yeah, I did want to bring that up because we are going to see, I don't know, it's going to seem unusual, but we're going to see these different layers of death, but not only death, also rebirth, right? We're going to see a lot of people around us. If you're already in this space, you've probably gone through it or are going through it, but you're going to start to see other people start to go through like a spiritual awakening or a rebirth, and their personality is going to completely shift. And generally for the better, because at this point in time, we're not really going backwards. If we're going backwards, it's probably where that's a pull back to slingshot forward, right? So it's the way it needs to happen. But you're going to see a lot of really significant shifts in people in the coming days as well. Okay, I do want to talk a little bit about distractions. And like I said, there's the like political stuff, the worldwide things, those kinds of distractions. For some people, there's like the fighters, right? And I don't mean fighters in like the physical sense, but on our planet, we have the human beings that are the fighters, and those are the people who are meant to like spread awareness, share codes, talk about these things if they're like it's something political or it's something like sharing messages from spirit or things like that. There's some people who are meant to do these kinds of things and be forward facing, and so they involve themselves in a lot of different things and track a lot of stuff, like I said. But others are not necessarily meant to be immersed in that. Others might be really focusing on a self and individual journey, and that's okay. Majority of us are, and staying in this stream of things we're talking about, the theme actually for 2025, keep in mind this is something that I tracked through connection with those beings that I work with. So the theme for 2025 actually is self-discovery. So for majority of us, we might have collective missions and then also individual, But a lot of people are individual missions right now. We're figuring ourselves out. We're peeling back. I use this and I've used it so much in the last month or so when working with clients. So if you're a client of mine, and you've heard this, I'm so sorry, but I'm repeating it. The like peeling back all of the layers of like, okay, this is the layer of like what I took from my mom or my mom projected on me, my dad, society, my community, my school, my teachers, my grandparents, all these things. You're going to peel back all the layers of you that actually aren't you to find at your core who you really are, what you really love, what you really want to do with your life, what is your sole purpose, what kind of blueprint information can you download so that you know exactly what you're meant to be doing here? What did you come here to achieve? Because we all came here to achieve something. We all came here to achieve some form of healing and lesson learning to some degree. Some of us very, 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 very minimal, but and some of us a lot. But to some degree we did. And then a lot of us also just came here to enjoy this experience because honestly, from my perspective, from what I've seen going on journeys of my other lifetimes, other of my clients' lifetimes, different places, not here on Earth, that we've kind of lived, this is actually really the only word I can think of is beautiful because really that just encompasses it. It's really an interesting experience. We feel a lot more. A good example that I can give you is like the feelings of love and expressing love, but not being able to know what other people that you love or are connecting with are thinking and read them that way. And that I don't know, there's just such a beautiful thing that we get to experience as human beings where we don't know everything. Honestly, that's the best part of it. We don't know everything and we get to experience it and we get to experience love and all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful emotions um so deeply. And then also the sadness and the we just from what I've seen on going on journeys, soul journeys and this and that for myself and for others, I have never seen something so I don't know, I could just say beautiful. So beautiful. So immersive. Like you really are living this. And yeah, so it is it is the self-discovery journey, circling back, is really a beautiful experience, especially to have here on Earth. We can do the most it's interesting because, like I said, we got to peel back layers here, right? We're peeling back all these layers to discover who we are at our core, while also dealing with this thrown at us and this and this and all these distractions. And as a human being, it's very easy to become distracted because we have triggers and we have feelings and we have all these thoughts and stuff like that, and we don't know everything. So we can't just, oh, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter that this is happening because this is going to be the outcome for sure. Majority of us don't have that. Even for myself, even if I have a vision and I can see something future based, I still don't know for sure that that's the timeline that's gonna make it into fruition, right? And so yeah, it's really interesting. And so it's okay if your journey is self-discovery and it's okay if you go down a rabbit hole with political stuff and then you're like, oh, I feel yucky, this doesn't feel good. Come back out, retreat, and focus on you. Um, and your little family unit or whatever it is that you're meant to be focusing on. And it'll be pretty clear to you because if you're down a rabbit hole or you're on your phone and you're going like this and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just feel gross. Like this feels heavy. This feels yucky. Don't do it. Don't do it. If something doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. And if you are like, well, I have to, then you got to find a way to make that not the case. You got to figure out the root of what is the issue here and release, right? Okay. I did want to touch on wild dreams because they have been wild. They've been wild for the last month, but people like some of my clients and stuff have been letting me know that it's really amping up. Last night for me, I finally got like a good stretch of sleep because my son has not been sleeping very well. I think I slept from like just after 11 to 4:30. I don't remember waking up or moving or anything at all until he woke up. And so I had some wild dreams in between there, but a lot of it for me was like processing my day because I had a dream that I met my favorite author. And like, things like that are just like processing your day. I was reading a book and I was listening to an audiobook, and so that's the day before, so that's what I dreamt of. That makes a lot of sense. But it's going to be those things where it's like, oh, all of a sudden in your dream you see a UFO, or you're talking to an extraterrestrial in your dream, or you're talking to a loved one passed, or an animal that's passed, or you're having like a prophetic dream. Lately, I've been having a lot of like, um, I don't want to go into it too much because some of them are vision based, but basically like natural disaster dreams, things to do with our planet and stuff like that. Like I've been having those kinds of dreams, and then I really have to wake up and I'm like, okay, I need to pull this apart. Is this something that's actually going to happen, or is this like a metaphor for something? I really have to track and pull things apart when I have those kinds of dreams. But and then there'll be something like, oh, maybe there's someone you haven't talked to in a while and you had a dream about them. Well, then maybe that's a healing piece for you. There's a lot of stuff coming forward in dreams. Keep an eye out for an influx in connection with spirit and alien in regards to your dreams. Those will be bringing through messages that are important. They're also potentially priming and activating you on some of your like intuitive gifts and stuff like that. So keep those in mind. And I would dream journal. I would recommend dream journaling as it is right now, but that's something that they'll be really good to journal those down. Lot more frequent guide connections. Keep in mind, like animal guides, living guides are also guide connections. For instance, I was about to go for lunch with a friend of mine who is also in this intuitive world, and all of a sudden there was a bird in one of our big trees, and we thought it was like a hawk or something, and then it flew to the top, and it was a little owl, and I had not seen an owl in person except for like at a zoo or something. So I was like, oh, I was very excited, and I got distracted, and then I was ended up having to look into kind of what the owl represents and things like that. And in that moment, it gave me a lot of insight to a lot of things. So, um, the animals and the living guides and things like that are also bringing through a lot of messages. But if something like I want to bring this up too because I know this hasn't just been for myself either. I'll be like watching a video or reading about something, and all of a sudden I'll have all these emotions come to the surface, and it's like it's really easy right now. It's a really easy time to heal. And even if it wasn't something that I thought would upset me or it had nothing to do with me, it still was a trigger for bringing up emotions for me to release, which is huge. So the healing pieces that are coming forward right now are amazing, and healing is so, so, so easy right now. And when I say easy, I mean it's easy for the awareness to come through. It's easy to, once you have that awareness, to choose to heal. But if you choose that you don't want to work through it or heal through it, it's not going to be so easy. It's about flowing with it, right? Yeah, lots of prophetic dreams coming in. And then this is not only in dream state, it's sometimes it's happening in awake state, but timeline shifting or jumping timelines. Because right, this is one, there's a lot of parallel timelines that you have the opportunity to kind of move through. So if you are having dreams where it's like you're in another reality, but it's similar, but not quite so similar, like maybe, well, maybe for instance, just since politics seems to be the theme, maybe there's a different president in the States, or there's a different prime minister of Canada. Maybe you're jumping into future, maybe you're going back, maybe you're in parallel, right? There's like that, yeah, there's a lot to, I don't want to dive into all that and timelines and things like that in depth, but essentially a lot of timeline shifting dreams. We're also, a lot of us have it like when we're collectively experiencing a timeline shift. It's interesting because what I've noticed is I would have deja vu quite frequently all throughout my life, but the other day I had, this is the second time this happened to me now, I had deja vu where I knew what was going to happen. It wasn't as it was happening that I was like, oh, hey, this seems familiar. Something happened. I looked at something. It triggered the, hey, I've been here before. And I knew I just kept looking at the thing, and I could see the vision playing out of what, like what took place last time I saw this thing. But it happened differently in this timeline, if that makes sense. So I basically witnessed an alternate timeline while in the same timeline, and the opportunity to kind of play within them. It was so weird. It was so weird because usually deja vu for me, and I mean this might be the same case for you, or maybe you experience it differently, is, oh, I've witnessed this before, but it's the same. For me this time, I witnessed the one thing and I was like, oh yeah. And then it was different from reality. And I was like, whoa, okay. I had to like take a second. So that was pretty interesting. So if you're noticing some interesting, having either more frequent deja vu or it's shifted and it's like two different realities, very, very neat. That's you're working in different timelines. Um, Okay, we talked about, oh yeah, we basically talked about everything. So what I wanted to do is I want to give a little bit of an update, a little bit of a recap from what I talked about previously, dive in a little bit further with it. These kinds of energy updates are the ones that I want to be providing more frequently. I actually plan to do these weekly, again, live. Actually, now that I think about it, I can't go live in that group. Anyways, it'll be a recorded video for the Soul Seeds Academy member community that I have. So that is $25 a month. And I'm gonna be going, I was just doing type ups, so I'm hoping to do some type ups of energy updates and then some like this for them in there again. And then I do like a little reading for them, and then we sometimes will try to. Lately it's been hard to get everyone to be be able to get together and do some like teaching pieces and stuff like that and card readings and like card spreads and sharing rituals and things like that. So I wanted to kind of pop that in there if this is something that you're interested in keeping up on because I am a tracker. I am a psychic intuitive, so I will track and I will connect to get all the information that I possibly can because that's just I'm a code sharer. That's just part of the gig for me, and I love it. But yeah, so that's a way if you want to kind of keep in touch with everything. There's already some amazing, incredible human beings in there that I love to get to connect with on a monthly basis. And yeah, it's beautiful. So outside of that, I will do these kinds of energy updates every now and then for everyone, but I like to kind of reserve them for the members because they there's just a different level of like awareness and willing to receive and things like that. And they're just yeah, I love the way like that we can connect and communicate on things. And I have like there's the group and then I have like it one-on-one connections with these people where they share information with me and it's about what's going on and kind of helping them navigate things, which is also super beautiful. I really, really, really enjoy what I do every day. So yeah, that is a way that you can connect it in a group setting, but I also obviously have my sessions that and I do have actually have a session sale on right now. I have a sale on virtual quantum healing sessions and in-person quantum healing sessions as well. And yeah, so there's a lot going on in the world. You don't have to plug into the chaos if you don't want to plug into the chaos. This year is going to be a whirlwind. We're going to see a lot of weird things happen. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to see a lot of weird things happen, a lot of probably unexpected things happen. We're changing the whole direction of where we're going on this planet. And this is just the beginning. Even though it's going to seem like we're taking big leaps, this is just the beginning, much more big leaps to come. But yeah. Okay, I think that's all for our energy update today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment wherever you can find this video. I guess feel free to comment. And then otherwise, you can also email me or message me. My email is zenmamalightworker@gmail.com. Have a great day, guys. Bye.